Big news breaking tonight on Showbiz Tonight. Rihanna's big mistake? The epic outrage today after the release of Rihanna's bold new song with Chris Brown, 3 years after he assaulted her.
Can't wait to blow candles out. I want that.
Tonight, the fired-up debate over Rihanna and Chris Brown's shocking musical reunion. Is Rihanna sending a terrible message? Welcome back to Showbiz Tonight. Thank you for watching. It is 30 minutes past the hour. I'm AJ Hammer in New York with big news breaking tonight. The battle over Chris Brown. And the bombshells just kept on coming today. Chris stunning fans and the music world with an all-new remix featuring Rihanna. Yes, Rihanna, who of course he beat up 3 years ago and wound up being convicted for assaulting. And Chris returns the favor, singing on Rihanna's new remix of Birthday Cake that was also released today. And I have to tell you, his lyrics are nasty.
Girl, I wanna right now. Been a long time, I've been missing your body. Let me turn the lights down. When private party.
Yeah, did you hear that? Is it any clearer that Chris is not over Rihanna? And it seems she's not over him, despite what happened. But Showbiz Tonight has got to ask, if Rihanna has forgiven him, should everyone else? Wendy Walsh is with us tonight from Hollywood. Wendy, a doctor of psychology and co-host of the daily syndicated show, The Doctors. John Murray is in Washington tonight. John is an entertainment journalist and pop culture expert. It seems to me, guys, this was to have been Chris Brown's big comeback year. Maybe it will be, but right now it looks like things are going downhill fast. Just over a week ago, of course, Chris performed twice at the Grammy Awards. He even got his first Grammy Award that night. Good thing for him. His fans raved about his performance, but for those who didn't rave, Chris took to Twitter telling them essentially to kiss off. And before his first round of Twitter rage could even die down, today we find out he's taking on a new Twitter battle with a pro wrestler who made a negative comment about his comeback. Now, a lot of people coming down hard on Chris, but when you look at the timeline of events, he is not initiating any of this new trouble. He's basically taking the time to respond to everyone else, including Miranda Lambert, who's slamming him. Wendy, let me start with you. I think he needs to accept, hey, look, not everybody is going to forget what he did. He's entitled to respond to anybody he wants, but I do have to wonder what he has to gain by constantly responding to random criticism.
You know, AJ, I've been thinking about it, and I think it is kind of a form of catharsis for him, if you will. As part of his healing is to constantly defend himself and defend himself, but it's gone on 3 years already, and if he does want it to go away, I would suggest getting the backbone to be silent about it all.
And when he does it, he can tone down the language a little bit so as not to contribute to the reputation that precedes him. But look, aside from his Twitter rants, we really haven't seen Chris in a whole lot of trouble lately, so that's a good thing. Here now is our Showbiz Flashpoint. Could it be that Chris Brown is actually getting a bad rap? John, what do you think?
Well, listen, I'm all for a comeback story and a second chance, and I have been rooting Chris on. For a few things, AJ, has to happen. He's got to get off of Twitter. I don't know why they haven't taken him off of Twitter before now. Twitter has been one of the biggest troubles in his life. The other thing is, I think him and Rihanna recorded these songs saying, look, we've moved past it. We want you guys to move past it. But while they want people to move past it and to judge them on the art and not the past, you know, you kind of throw the past back in people's face when you collaborate. So it was a bad idea. Well-intended, but a bad idea.
Yeah, it's certainly getting them publicity. But what do you think, Wendy, on the idea that maybe Chris is just getting a bad rap? Do you buy that?
Well, I think he's a young man who's done everything you're supposed to do afterwards. He did his 6 months of community service, his 1 year of anger management. He's still on probation for a total of 5 years. He's probably still in therapy. He's apologized to her. He's apologized to his fan. What else do we want him to do? I do think that America needs to make room for forgiveness here, but it's hard for people because you have to remember, AJ, there are a lot of hurt and injured people out there who have had their own life events come to pass where they can easily lash out at a celebrity instead of dealing with their own issues. So that's really part of it.
And it has been 3 years. As you mentioned, he's paid his dues to society, at least. I think there's still a lot more that can be done or has to be done for him to show the world that he has changed his ways. That doesn't happen like that. And Wendy, you're the doctor. You could tell me better than I can tell you. But yeah, Rihanna has apparently forgiven him. John, I get the impression that you have essentially forgiven him. This is a picture of the two of you, along with Sherry Shepherd at his fan appreciation tour. Why do you think that it is time for everybody to just move on, as Chris and Rihanna seem to want everybody to do?
We've got to show Chris the same level of compassion we would show ourselves, our son, our nephew, anybody else who got into some trouble and had to go through the process. Chris was 19 years old at the time when it happened. And so he faced his crimes like a man. He went through the process, and now he needs to let the success be the redemption story. Let the success speak for itself. Don't respond to these people. Don't fight with these people. Move on and carry on.
Yeah, I think he's just taken too many steps back every time he opens his mouth. And today, you have Chris and Rihanna releasing songs featuring each other, as we've been talking about, and a lot of outrage has followed that, which is really understandable, at least coming from the public. Rihanna seems to have forgiven him. So, Wendy, is it time for the rest of us to forgive him?
I certainly think it is. Now, of course, the concern is whether they'll actually get back together as a romantic couple. And as a doctor of psychology, I certainly do not recommend that, because it could be so volatile that the same triggers could crop up again. So that's a dangerous thing for him. Now, remember, the recidivism rates of domestic violence are very, very high. It's hard to overcome. But he's a young man. He's putting his mind to it. I feel like it's time to forgive and let him have a future. Are people just envious, do you think, AJ, that he's making so much money? Maybe that's the piece.
Yeah, that always comes into play here. But it's interesting. We've been tossing around the term forgiveness for a long time now, as long as we've been talking about Chris Brown trying to make a comeback. And I don't know. I almost feel like, you know what? He didn't beat me. I don't really have any personal need or reason to forgive him, but what it seems he wants everybody to do, and this is the part where I think there's a real disconnect, he just wants everybody to forget what happened. You know what? That's not going to happen for everybody, and that's something he's going to need to accept. He made his bed. He's got to sleep in it. This is going to follow him for the rest of his life. He doesn't have to like that. That's simply going to be the case. Now, I want to get back to your point in terms of the influence that he has on young women and the impact this could be having, Wendy. Let me show you something that Michael Jackson's daughter, Paris, tweeted just today about Chris's new song. She said, "Check out Chris's new song, Turn Up the Music. It's beast," meaning good, which really does speak volumes on the influence that Chris has on such a young audience. I think we should genuinely be worried by the example that he is setting here.
So therefore, you think, AJ, we should just keep him in jail, never let him have a partner, never let him become a father?
No, hold on. Let me be clear. Yeah. Let me be clear about what I'm saying, because you're just talking about recidivism rates. Yeah. In other words, basically, people who get back with their abusers often wind up having trouble again. And basically,
right,
him getting back with her, if that is what's happening here, says to their followers, hey, it's okay.
I don't think they'll get back together romantically, and I really encourage them not to. But, you know, we can talk about, there are great lessons for his young followers in forgiveness here. They can have a working relationship. They can have a Twitter friendship or whatever they're going to have, and we can forgive and move forward.
Well, we will continue to follow it. Wendy Walsh, John Murray, I thank you both. Now I want to